Johan Cruyff and his legendary 3-4-3 diamond? Can we recreate it in eFootball? In the 1991 to 1992 season, Cruyff's dream team Barcelona won 3 titles, including the first European Cup in the club's history. Let's dive deep into Cruyff's 3-4-3 and his way of playing that was revolutionary in that era, and try to recreate this system in a football. Players were shocked when Cruyff drew a 3-4-3 formation on the blackboard. It was an era where most teams played with 4-4-2 and 3-5-2. Why did Cruyff know a 3-4-3 would let them win? Cruyff explained, "Against a 4-4-2, having a 4 at the back would be wasting a player at the back. So leaving only 3 behind would be enough. Having 3 forwards would let them attack with width, unlike a 4-3-1-2 diamond. And it would also help Barcelona dominate in possession more easily because when you have the ball, the opponent can't score." But how did he maximize every player's impact on the game by assigning them different roles? Let's dive deep into Cruyff's 3-4-3 design and translate it into eFootball. The keeper, Zubizarreta, was often the first player in possession. He was allowed to start with either a short pass or a long pass. Unlike the usual 3 at the back system, Cruyff required the wide center backs to be athletic and stay relatively wide, who would drive the ball slightly higher when needed. It was more like 1 center back and 2 defensive fullbacks, who were usually Nando and Nadal. As Johan Cruyff's son, Jordi Cruyff, described, he knew there would be a lot of space behind in defense, so he needed some kind of speed. So Johan also had players like Albert Ferrer and Juan Carlos, who were short but very fast to play as wide defenders. The CB, Ronald Koeman, had excellent technique and accurate long pass skill from his strong kicking power. He was a key piece in breaking through defense lines with his passes, as well as occasionally carrying the ball forward to create an overload. In front of Koeman was arguably the most important position in Cruyff's 3-4-3, the single pivot, Pep Guardiola. As Cruyff said, "This player's job is to never leave the center circle. From here, he can pass where he likes." Pep was not allowed to move forward vertically, but he had the freedom to move horizontally. When Koeman was man-marked, Pep's horizontal movement would open an angle for Koeman to attempt a short pass. This single pivot position allowed Pep to have maximum vision, enabling him to use his accurate placement to get the ball wherever he wanted. But how was he always able to have good passing options? Cruyff believed that the more triangles there are, the easier it would be to maintain possession. Having a diamond midfield allowed Pep to find a target in all directions. But what if Pep was tightly marked? In that case, the right central midfielder, Eusebio, would often move in parallel with Pep to help orchestrate the attack. The space he left would then be used by players up front, making flexible rotations. Amor, the left CMF, often made runs within the half space to act as a moving supportive passing target. Baquero, the central attacking midfielder, had a role which Cruyff required to always face the ball. With this body angle, Baquero would either make a backward pass to one of the midfielders and then quickly make a whole player type run into the box. Or he could turn toward the goal to make killer passes to the forwards. He said he rarely had to dribble, but he scored 11 goals that season, even as a player behind the front line. Baquero formed a great partnership with the center forward, Laudrup. Unlike traditional center forwards, Laudrup had excellent technique, balance, and passing ability. His role under Cruyff was like that of a false 9, or a deep lying forward, frequently dropping deep to dictate play in the final third alongside Baquero. When Laudrup dropped deep, usually one of the wingers would temporarily take on the center forward space to finish chances. It was usually Stoichkov who took this role. Stoichkov was Barcelona's top scorer that season. His sense of space and excellent shooting ability allowed him to score after frequent positional rotations. The left winger was usually Chiki Begiristain, who was a left-footed prolific winger. He would make diagonal runs into the space Laudrup created, but he was also capable of dribbling down the left flank to make full use of the pitch's width. Substitutes like Goicoechea, Witschge, and Salinas, who could play in various attacking positions, gave Cruyff many options. As a proponent of Michels' total football, Cruyff allowed his players the freedom to rotate positions, and the front four could often be seen taking each other's roles, creating a dynamic that was difficult to defend. To build a team, what should be the playstyle? It should definitely be possession, in order to have flexible positioning, and players always ready to receive a pass from their teammate. The The formation should be a 3-4-3 with a right SS and 2 fullbacks instead of wide center backs. Zubizarreta was like an offensive keeper. Nadal and Nando were 2 defensive fullbacks, or they would play Ferrer and Carlos, who were fast and short offensive fullbacks, but given defensive instruction. The center back Koeman was a build-up defender who was very technical with excellent long passing. Pep Guardiola was the anchorman's single pivot, but an orchestrator would also work. The right CMF Eusebio was an orchestrator who would drop deep frequently. The left CMF Amor was more like a B2B or a hole player. I gave him an anchoring instruction to allow him to make vertical movements within the left half space only, and to prevent him from drifting too much to the right side due to the possession playstyle. Baquero the AMF played like a hole player, but a creative playmaker can also work. Begiristain was a left-footed prolific left winger. Stoichkov played mainly on the right as a left-footed hole player SS, or you can use a playstyle that's not activated at SS. The CF Laudrup was like a false 9, so it's preferred to have a deep lying forward. I also kept a right-footed sub-winger who can play on wings like Salinas and Goicoechea. Although Cruyff said they didn't focus on defense, at least 8 of the 10 players would often defend during the opponent's attack. So I gave deep line instruction to the DMF and the LWF to form a 4-4 shape during defense. Here's the full squad, the instructions, and the table of players. Let's see if this team can win an online division. Eusebio stayed parallel to Pep to help orchestrate the play, and Stoichkov took the space he left behind. The false 9, Laudrup, opened up space for Baquero and Stoichkov to move into the middle. Front 3 attack, false 9 Laudrup, Cheeky's diagonal run, and Stoichkov's finishing. I felt the through pass buff here. Pep opening a passing angle for Koeman. You can see players' rotations, especially Stoichkov. Again, Laudrup false 9 and Stoichkov took the space.
The space here, and here's Beckham, and he's managed to get free. Can he finish?
Nice goal, not gonna lie.
They have done it. They have their equalizer. And we are back on
With this setup, you have players around you all the time. The team just kept on attacking.
Relatively good about themselves, so I don't think the manager has seen anything to change in his half-time team talk.
Neither of these two want to come off second best. Now it's De Bruyne. Tries to get it clear. He's looking to set free a runner. Now it's Rafinha. Swept in. No messing about, just bludgeoned away. Arsenal are looking to play on the counter here, aren't they?
Well, I think it's pretty clear.
Starting from Koeman and Pep, Baquero made a great run into the box.
Looking for options for movement.
Well, that has caused
Rafinha.
Look at this beautiful run by Stoichkov, again running into Laudrup's space. Cruyff wanted Baquero to always face the ball.
Great ball if he can get there. Costa Curta gets across to intercept that. Neymar. That's been intercepted.
that's great positioning. So good from him.
Oh, he's been caught on it here. Shapes the shoots. Taken with style.
Bitter blow. I think it's going to be very hard for them to find the character to respond from that.
And that is as far as it goes. Well, don't you just love it? But and songs, it is the perfect sound.
Building up from the back from Koeman and Pep.
And the matchday noise at this place is truly special. The pride, the passion, it adds to a massive sense of occasion. As you can see, we've already had Stoichkov.
When you say Brazilian fullback, there's only one man, isn't there?
Been a couple, Jim,
Nice
there,
through
but
pass.
I guess you mean Roberto Carlos. But now Stoichkov.
Worth a try.
Oh, that's ambitious.
A long attack began with a nice interception by Koeman.
That is that.
Pep's anchorman positioning helped break the press.
Truly have no need to panic. They can reassess at half-time.
Now who's going to be first to this? And here's De Bruyne. No way through, so
They regained possession by having numbers up front.
gives it back.
Modern football for you and all that pressing.
Ball's gone astray.
I love how Baquero always faced the ball, which made passing connections much easier.
Big chance.
Be hopeful of more of the same in this second half.
It's a really interesting game, and they head in at half-time at 1-1.
Beautiful football between Baquero and Laudrup.
This second half. Oh, shooting chance.
Here. Look, that was a technical interaction of great football. That has gone down a treat.
Pep is absolutely amazing. Maybe try to observe the mini-map during gameplay to find open targets easily.
They deserve great credit for turning things around, but they'll now need the defensive resilience to equal that.
It's a sharp pass.
Diamond midfield dominating the pitch.
Played it back.
Just too much pressure. Had to go that way.
Decent hit. And one more try. Time added on will be 2 minutes.
Thank you so much for watching. Will you try Cruyff's Diamond 343? If you enjoyed, please subscribe and like, and I'll keep working on new content.
Collective effort. Fall behind they may have done, but they were having none of that.